Hello, and welcome to The Sonic Shuffle, a random and holistic Sonic lore podcast. I'm Dan, the teacher.
I'm Morg, one of the students.
And I'm Devon, the other student.
And folks, it has been 23 episodes. We finally got the die to roll in the favor of a game.
Get your game on.
I'm happy to announce that we are discussing Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. Now, discussing this game is a little weird because this game doesn't have a story or plot, so to speak. In fact, most of the lore can only be inferred, so we're going to take it that way. We're gonna open with some background information, then we're gonna go zone by zone, just trying to figure out what the hell's going on with these things. More of a roundtable discussion than the sort of recap nature we're used to.
So would you say this is more, like a discussion-based class instead of a lecture-based class, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say
We all
that.
form a group circle, we take out our notes, and we discuss the material. Did your teachers ever do that to you guys, where you put in a circle and they threw objects to you when they wanted you to talk?
I
With the koosh.
feel like that's had to have happened at some point.
We'll have a koosh. Koosh ball.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think that did happen to me, in middle school or
Oh,
something.
they did it to us in high school.
Oh.
Mm.
So, some background information. In the early 90s, Sega was doing pretty good at the arcades, but not so good at the consoles. They had the Sega Master System. It wasn't very popular, especially in comparison to the gold standard of the industry, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And they had a mascot. They had Alex Kidd. But yeah, Alex Kidd. Alex Kidd is this obscure early mascot Sega had. I think he's he's a little elf boy or something. I might be thinking of... No. I don't know what the deal with Alex Kidd is. Just that, he was this platformer character, almost like Mario. His games also had, this rock, paper, scissors minigame. I don't know all too much about it. He had, elf ears.
I am looking at a photo of this boy, and he looks like the most generic boy I've ever seen in my life. He looks like an Alex.
Generic elf boy.
Alex Kidd, a bit too Mario for Sega's tastes. Or at least for trying to be a big company. Big console market company. So, they had to create a new mascot for their new system, the Sega Genesis, or Sega Mega Drive, depending on your region. And what they decided on was a unique blend of Western and Japanese aesthetics, taking inspiration from Rubber Hose, give a very anti-authoritarian character, and also giving him shoes inspired by Michael Jackson. I am, of course, talking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Do you mean Michael Jordan?
No, Michael Jackson, the pop star.
Oh.
Interesting. I guess I was thinking of Air Jordans and stuff.
Yeah.
My bad.
Basically, Sonic has these buckles on his shoes that were apparently inspired by one of Michael Jackson's outfits, maybe one he wore in Bad or something like that.
Interesting. He does the moonwalk.
Sonic was not only to be competing with Mario, Sonic was to be better than Mario.
Oh shit!
And boy, did Sega compete in the advertising industry.
Nintendo.
Of course, everyone knows the classics. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Nintendo.
And Nintendo won't.
But all sorts of advertisements were like, we're better than Mario.
So rude.
Sonic was the rude dude with Tood. And there are some concepts. There were some ideas of what he would be like. We've gone over. He was from a town called Hardly, Nebraska. That's the Western story. There's also the story that Sonic was in a band with, I cannot remember the band numbers other than the one that still shows up and stuff. But the other band members were a chicken, a monkey, and a crocodile. In fact,
What?
Vector the crocodile.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh my god. I thought you were talking about Sonic Underground for a second.
Yeah.
Sonic's been a band more than once, I guess.
Another early concept was Sonic having a human girlfriend named Madonna. This is worth noting, for reasons we will get to one day.
He's been with a human from the beginning? This has been in the works from the beginning.
Yes.
Sonic 06 was a return to form.
God damn it. God damn it. Also, her name's Madonna.
A thing about the game itself, though, was that they wanted a game that could emphasize what the Genesis could do, as opposed to the Nintendo, which, it was faster. An advertising point in American stuff was less processing, which isn't real. But it does run. You can move pretty fast in a Genesis game, and that's what they wanted to do with Sonic. Also, like, a big thing about Sonic 1 gameplay is the idea that if you play it over and over again, you'll be able to do it faster and faster. A sort of proto-speedrunning situation. In this game, which has very little plot, the evil Dr. Ivo Robotnik, loosely inspired by Theodore Roosevelt, just, he's got the big mustache. He was inspired by Teddy Roosevelt. That sort of mustache glasses look. Big man child. Fucked over Japan seriously. You know?
That's funny, because so many Americans like him. That makes him having a teddy in Sonic, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog funnier. Since, like, Teddy Roosevelt, teddy bears. It's funny to me.
Yeah. So, the evil Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman in Japan, was capturing animals and putting them into robots and just generally wreaking havoc. So it was up to Sonic to stop him. That's the entire plot of this game. However, I do want to note one little thing that was featured on the Japanese box art and instruction manual. It goes as follows. Don't just sit there and waste your precious time. When you want to do something, do it right away. Do it when you can. It's the only way to live a life without regrets.
What?
Oh.
Yeah,
Don't give me life advice.
Yeah, like a bunch of classic like 2 or 3 classic Sonic games have this weird inspirational quote on them.
The philosopher Sonic coming out of his cave.
Sonic is a street philosopher who keeps it on the smooth tip.
Also, he's anti-authoritarian, so maybe he's an anarchist philosopher.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Wait a sec.
Sonic
Does
Yeah?
that mean Sonic is Diogenes?
is Sonic Diogenes. I'm
Hmm.
gonna say no. He's not like he's probably homeless, but I think he's too clean. I actually
The only thing separating you from Sonic and Diogenes is a shower.
God.
exactly. But you could say that he's the Diogenes to Mario's Plato.
Ooh.
You know?
He has always been very anti-authority, fighting for freedom and what you believe in. Live and learn, open your heart, that's what Sonic is all about.
True.
Oh, there's one other thing I want to note. Sonic has Sonic 1 has a very distinct soundtrack because it and the second game were composed by... I'm gonna cut this out as I look up the artist's name. Masato Nakamura of the band Dreams Come True composed the opening tune to or not the opening. He composed the soundtrack for Sonic 1 and 2. And it's a very distinct soundtrack because of that. Just it feels very different from other stuff. They wanted to just do something unique, and he had to do the music on an Atari computer.
Interesting. I guess so
Yeah.
it, works in the game.
Yeah. Also, it got... In the years since Sonic 1 and 2, Dreams Come True became really, really popular in Japan. And this has become a problem for Sega because they can't afford to have Sonic 1 and 2 music in the game anymore, so they have to do, they have to, create, copyright-safe versions of their own music.
That's so weird.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Did they, so they copyrighted, the music?
Yeah, they did the music, they got big. The most notable example is actually I think, I'm not sure the exact legal situation, but, the one that's, the huge problem is actually the ending of, the Sonic 2, the ending of Sonic 2, which is, Sweet Dreams by Dreams Come True, or Sweet, Sweet, Sweet. Or, no, wait, that's a different song. Never mind. But the point is, that song, that is, later was also an, proper produced Dreams Come True song that they licensed and copyrighted and all that. So, Sega has only ever been able to do it once because they have to pay copyright fees if they actually want to, put that song in a game.
Damn. So, I guess, does that mean all of the Sonic music, if they do, remakes, I've never played Generations, but I would assume they try to, do some remakes of the first couple games, music and some of it. I wonder if it's, slightly different, so they don't have to deal with copyright.
Yeah, I think, if you put, some of them, side by side, you can, tell the difference.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's mostly the ending, though. That one's untouchable. I think the other stuff is less of an issue, but, the ending thing's a big deal. Yeah, so... Why don't we get into the real star of this game, the zones. So I'll just sort of describe each zone as it is, and then we can just, discuss what we think this zone is supposed to be, what we think of the bosses, and so on and so forth.
Aren't the bosses
So-
kind of like all Eggman?
Yeah, they're all Eggman, and like, I guess it's not as much of a thing to discuss the bosses, and like, basically it's all Eggman in like his Eggomatic, for lack of a better term, which just like gets various accessories depending on what he wants to do to fight Sonic.
Okay.
So, the first stage is, of course, Green Hill Zone. You know it, you love it. It's the Green Hills of Green Hill Zone. It's a bright, vibrant stage where every level, where the game starts, you know? It's level 1. The first level is always the most distinct and memorable part of many Sonic games, and this game is no exception. You are treated to the tunes of Green Hill Zone. This game really, this specific like set of zones is like the embodiment of trying to beat the game as fast as you can. The rest of the levels are much slower and not quite as good, with some exceptions, but this is the one where you go fast.
I feel like the person I watched do this game kept slowing down, and I don't know if it was just because of like their own ability, or if it was like there are some slower parts in the game.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of slower parts.
I was
like-
surprised by how many parts it was just like you have to sit there and wait.
Yeah, like you think of Sonic, you think of going fast, but like I feel like all the 3D games I know, there's a lot of slow parts, and now it seems like a lot of the original games, there's like random slow parts too.
Yeah. I assume this is like Sonic's home turf. That's what they said, and that's what it always seems to be like. Like, Sonic's always familiar with the Green Hill Zone. It's showed up in various games over the years as a sort of throwback level.
Yeah, I feel like it's the throwback level. Like, it's the game they use, it's the level they use for, you know, all the Smash stages. It's the level they use for, like, all the, like, Sonic references. It's Green Hill Zone.
Yeah. Anything else to say on this?
I feel like there's not a lot to say, other than it's green and hilly, and unless you wanted to, like, talk about, like, how the robots and stuff are, but I guess they're in, like, every level, so, or every zone.
Yeah.
I would say that, like, most levels have, like, their own set of robots.
Yeah.
Like, this, like, Green Hill Zone's got, like, bug-themed ones, like the Motobug, the Buzz Bomber. That's essentially what's important about this enemy group. There's also the fish. I don't remember their names. I can just look these names up. Give me a second.
So, and then, okay, so this is just, like, a little thing, but, like, you get, places to go when you, checkpoints. They're like lamps or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are they?
They're
Ding-dong things.
I mean, I don't know what their specific thing is. They've always been called, like, star posts.
I feel like I read somewhere that they were calling them lamps, and they don't look like lamps at all to me.
Yeah, I've never heard them called lamps. Huh.
Maybe I'm just looking at somewhere weird. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, they're checkpoints. You die, you respawn at them.
Right.
I should also really quick note the special stages. So, if you finish a stage with 50 or more rings, a big, like, glowy ring will, like, show up. You can jump inside it, and it takes you to the special stage, which, in this game, is a sort of, like, rotating maze with weird trippy music and visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems slightly hard on the eyes.
Yeah, I would say in terms of difficulty, it's sort of the medium difficulty of special stages. Like, it's like the thing about like all the special stages in every game is like you memorize them. You have to do them again and again to like memorize them and figure out how to beat them. The goal of every special stage in every Sonic game is to get whatever special item you have to collect in this game is. Usually the Chaos Emeralds. In this game there are 6. There's usually 7. The general thing with like the Chaos Emeralds is if you get them all, you get the good ending. And in games after the first one, if you get them all, you get to play as Super Sonic.
Wait, you play as Super Sonic in this one or no?
No, Super Sonic isn't in this one.
Interesting.
So, one other thing I want to note. This game, unlike all future Sonic games, has like three acts to every stage. Later on, it's just 2 acts, and that does make this first game feel even slower because you're used to the 2-act structure. So I think that covers Green Hill Zone. Let's move on to Marble Zone.
Okay, yeah, so, the Sonic fandom wiki is calling them lampposts for some reason, even though, like, when I click on the link, it takes me and it calls them star posts.
That is weird.
I know. Huh. Anyway, continue. Sorry, I just was like...
Yeah, it's cool.
I did read lampposts. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. So, the Marble Zone, it's when the game gets slow. It has a lot of, like, pushing block puzzles. It's got this sort of weird Roman theme, this sort of, like, Greek theme to it, where it's like, there's, like, Greek ruins everywhere, and there's lava, and this much slower tuned song. The enemies in this one include the Caterkiller, who you have to jump on, like, specifically the head, or, like, it'll just break apart and hurt you, and just bats that hang from ceilings. I should be looking up the enemy names, but I'm not going to.
I mean, and then when you, like, jump on the enemies, they turn into the aminals.
Like little aminals.
Yeah.
This is interesting, like, from trying to figure out what the hell the, like, world is about. It's just, like, all the ruins left behind in the various zones are very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of ruins in this game. I have been thinking about that theory positioned in last week's episode of Stay Sonic, that this is like some past Mobian civilization that just like was present in this world and is now gone. Which does fit, because later on we're going to get a much more official and canonical lost ancient civilization, the Echidnas.
Then there's like, I mean, yeah, like, what if, I feel like maybe it was in the OVA where it was like kind of implied to be Earth originally? Or maybe it wasn't, but the cities looked like Earth cities, that's all. Like, the ruins they were in looked like an Earth city.
Yeah, didn't they, like, literally go to New York?
Yeah,
like the
it was
ruined city of New York.
Yeah, it was like the ruins of New York in that one. I don't think we ever see anything like that, but post-apocalyptic Sonic is another idea that will come up one day in the future. I will not elaborate further.
Okay.
Excellent.
But yeah, you really do wonder. Like, I think some stuff established, like, the first game takes place on, like, this island called either South Island or Christmas Island. Well, South Island, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's South Island.
Yeah.
I was like, Christmas Island's a real place.
Yeah, I just realized what I had said there.
And then
But
I'm
yeah.
like, that just contributes to my theory.
Perhaps this is Christmas Island. Yeah, this level's got lava stuff. It does make me wonder, like maybe this particular civilization was lost to, the lavas. Maybe this is a Pompeii situation.
Also, does this mean the Sonic world had, like, a Greco empire? Did it have a Roman kind of empire sort of dealio? Or at least, like, even if it wasn't an empire, did it have, like, the architecture and art of, like, Greece? And, like, did they have a Renaissance? Did they have a Middle Ages? Especially...
Do you see in the cartoons they do have traditional marriages?
They have traditional what? I'm sorry.
They have traditional marriages.
Oh yeah, they sure do.
So there definitely was.
I mean, that's a different universe. But no, you're right. That's interesting.
Let's consider it. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say on this level, so
no.
Maybe we'll
I just want to say
Sonic.
Sonic is Catholic.
Sonic is Catholic. Oh no.
Sonic has found love in Christ.
So, I mean, there is a Sonic Bible. Makes you think.
Yeah, there is.
See?
I would love if someone took Sonic to, like, teach their kid about religion or something.
There's like this whole, like, thing about Christian kids getting into Sonic because, like, he's cool but in the most, like, safe way possible.
Radical Kids Bible.
Yeah. There is a whole lot of that.
Sonic says, fuck you!
Youth pastors simply love Sonic.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast.
He's hip and relatable to the kids without making drugs or swears.
Remember, kids,
Mario
obey thy
doesn't-
parents.
I was gonna say Mario doesn't do drugs, and then I was like, I guess the mushrooms. I guess.
Yeah, but Sonic's cooler than Mario.
Yeah,
Damn.
Sonic doesn't follow the rules, except for all the rules he follows.
Yeah.
Fuck the rules.
I guess we can talk about the third stage, which is the Spring Yard Zone.
I like the music in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, the music in this game is very good.
The second one I wasn't vibing as much with, but this one was good.
Yeah, this one has got a very chill feel to it, music-wise. It features a lot of springs, as the name implies, a lot of block puzzles where you have to, like, go through, like, where blocks are moving up and down, and you have to move through them in a way where you don't get crushed. One thing about the enemies in this one is there's this enemy that, like, looks kinda like Sonic, except he's an armadillo.
Yeah!
And, like, he gets you by, like, you start rolling into a ball and going super fast, and he, like, runs into you.
Yeah, I was like, why is there... At first when I saw it, I was like, is there, like, a Phantom Sonic that, like, shows you where you gone when you died or something? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, in some games where they show you, like, where you died with, like, a phantom version of yourself. I can't think of, like, a specific game that does that, but they exist.
I know Dark Souls does, like Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Or Super Meat Boy.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was until it, like, ran into the Sonic. I was like, oh, this is an enemy.
Yeah. This area is a bit mysterious, but it seems to be some sort of, like, city or industrial area. Maybe it's just a factory that makes springs.
Isn't there another industrial one?
Yeah, the scrap brain zone later on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe it just produces springs. Maybe springboards were like a thing before Sonic used them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and of course, before I go any further, I do need to mention cope. There are signs in the Spring Yard Zone, things like Sonic and Sega, but one of them just says cope.
Some programmers make signs to cope.
Yeah. They made the sign to cope.
Yeah, it just says cope. I don't know why.
Maybe one of the workers made it in their spare time.
It was a cry for help.
Was it an accident? Like, is there anything about it? There's just like some programmer came out and was like, whoops, I forgot to remove it. LOL.
I don't think so. It's just there.
It's Robotnik's propaganda.
Robotnik is trying to cope.
Robotnik is telling everyone just to cope.
Robotnik is forcing these spring workers to overwork to exhaustion, and one rebels by writing a sign that says cope.
And another one does one that says do it for her.
Yeah. You don't see that one, but it's there. Alright.
The spring... were his workers, like, also robot? Like, robot
Yeah,
size,
I think so.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Robotnik would, like, roboticize his workforce to make them, more submissive.
Also, in this game, it seems like they're not, like, it seems like, quote-unquote, like, robotization is, like, it turns them into robots, where in this, it seems like they just put the animals in the robots.
Yeah, that's how it tends to be in, like, the classic stuff.
Okay.
A lot of adaptations choose to make it more of, like, a cybernetic, like, transformation.
I guess it kind of makes sense, especially if they make more characters that are, like, Sonic-sized. Because, like, the little flickies are, like, small. So they fit in the robots better. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think I have much else to say on this level. The boss is like, he goes around with the spike at the bottom and, like, stabs at you and, like, picks up parts of the floor that you're on, and just, like, to make it so that you eventually might fall down a pit.
Did we talk about the bosses in the other two levels?
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah,
I should, didn't. Like, real quick, just describe them at least. Like, the Green Hill Zone one, he's got, like, a wrecking ball attached to his Ego-matic, and this is, like, one of the most memorable bosses in classic Sonic, because, like, he just goes back and forth. It's very easy to beat. He goes down in 8 hits.
Ball. Wait, that's not how it goes. I was trying to sing Wrecking Ball in my brain, just forgot how that song goes.
A notable thing about Robotnik boss fights is he always goes down in 8 hits. It sort of helps, like, build the strategy. And speaking of gameplay strategy, rings. So, when you throughout the level are rings that you collect. Now, collecting, like, things for points has always been a thing in video games up to this point, but in Sonic, if you collect rings and you get hit, you lose your rings, but are able to survive. However, when you get hit, the rings scatter around and you can pick some of them back up. In theory, you could beat the game without ever dying as long as you just picked up that one ring again. Of course, I'll get to it later. So,
You also talked about rings, because you needed enough to go to the special zones, I think.
Yeah, I made a brief mention of that.
And then level 2 is just, like, Robotnik with, like, fire shooting out of the Eggomatic.
Yeah, he's shooting fire, there's, like, some lava pits. When the fire lands on the ground, it, like, spreads, so you have to jump to the other side of the stage. That's basically it for that one. So, how about we get into the Labyrinth Zone?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. So, the Labyrinth Zone is more ancient ruins, but this time, instead of being taken by lava, they've been taken by water. There's a bunch of weird owl and squid faces on everything. It's like, this stage is like full of water, and you like when you go into water, you still walk and jump, but you move much slower, and there is a time limit to how long you can stay underwater before you drown. This is where the drowning theme comes in, because when you're about to drown, this little tune starts playing, and it gets faster and scarier. And a little... Yeah.
It's very stressful.
Yeah. A note about the music, I kind of like the Labyrinth Zone theme, but it's also very draining. It's a very slow-paced song.
Yeah. Well, maybe that makes up for the fact that the drowning music is so, like, frantic.
Yeah. There's a sort of sharp contrast between the two.
Also, it seems like he deals with water better in this game than, like, other games and other media.
Yeah, he doesn't immediately start drowning. He just kind of, like, runs around casually.
He has time.
Yeah.
And also, like, there are, like, bubbles throughout every water stage, and if you jump on the bubble, you get some air, and it resets the timer. But yeah, generally with classic games, that's how, or 2D games in general, that's how the water works. In 3D, it became harder to actually implement, so they generally just make water glorified pits. But of course it varies from game to game. You know how it is. The Labyrinth Zone has this... I'd say, aside from the drowning mechanic, the other distinct thing about the Labyrinth Zone is there's this section where you, like, slide down these, like, water slides, and they can just, like... There's, like, some of them where it'll just keep going forever and ever until you, like, jump out of it into a side passage. It just sort of repeats ad infinitum.
Interesting. I was gonna ask if they, like, eventually end in, like, a pit or something.
No, it just keeps going. Of course, this game, like most of the classic games, has a time limit. If you beat the stage you have 10 minutes to beat the stage. And with the longer stages, that can be a hassle. Not as much in this game, but definitely in some of the like 3, I think has that problem.
That's why you gotta get your speedrunning tactics down.
Yeah. Yeah, this stage's boss is more of an obstacle course. You have to, like, jump on Eggman a bunch as he flies through, like, a bunch of, like, tricks and traps that you have to avoid. Oh, one other fun little thing. There's, like, sections with rushing water, and you, like, grab onto these, like, bars, and you can just, like, go up and down, I think. It's neat.
Mm-hmm. And this is, like... Yeah, I just think of, like, last time in Stay Sonic, with, like, the underwater civilization that we were talking about, to contrast with the Marble Zone one. It's like Atlantis, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an Atlantis deal. Let's... I guess we can move on to the next section. The Starlight Zone. Now, the Starlight Zone is a personal favorite stage of mine. It's got a really fun, chill theme. Maybe I'll integrate it, I don't know. But it's a good scene. It's very chill, but also the stage is the first time since Green Hill where you're really able to get fast again.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of running stuff. There's loops. There's these... Oh yeah, I should talk about the loops. A thing about classic Sonic, and honestly just Sonic in general, is there's all of these loop-de-loops, where just to show how fast Sonic can run, if you go fast enough, you can just run straight through a loop-de-loop. Just a perfect, like, 360 spin.
Loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking cool.
Yeah.
Very singing today, I'm sorry.
It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, as far as, like, enemies go, there are... I'd say the most distinct enemy in this one is, like, there are these bomb enemies that'll like, count down and explode, so you've got to keep moving before they explode.
So this one's, like, at night, like, the whole thing is kind of, like...
Yeah.
Just... a place at night.
Yeah, it's a very pleasant level. I like
the
it.
atmosphere.
I wonder if it's like always at night, or like you just end up there. Like Sonic just ends up being there at night.
Huh. I wonder. It could. I think maybe Sonic is at night because like there seems to be like a progression of time throughout these stages. Like, the first two are in the day. The third, Spring Yard, is a more sunset-y look. Labyrinth Zone is all indoors, so nothing on that. And then this stage, which is the next to last stage in the game, is all night.
Yeah.
It's been a long day for Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's... It's a nice stage. There's also a bunch of fans that'll, like, get you blowing in one direction. The stage can be a bit, like, hard to get through. It's a bit labyrinthine. Even more than almost as much as Labyrinth Zone. Oh, there's also these enemies that are... I think they were in Labyrinth Zone too, where they're, like, these balls with spikes floating around them, and they'll, like, send the spike balls going towards you if they lock onto you. Yeah, Gordo.
I think of this whole game
Another
like
stage thing is like there are these teeter
classic Kirby. Sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. I like. Yeah. It's a nice game. Kirby is our friend.
Kirby is our friend. I played a lot more Kirby than I did Mario growing up, so that's kind of my comparison to a lot of the Sonic levels.
The stage boss is kind of neat, because, like, it's Robotnik flying around with these teeter-totters at the bottom, and, like, there are different ways you could attack him. Like, you could just do a regular jump, or you could, like, get some air with the teeter-totters, or send, like, the spike balls he's shooting at him using the teeter-totters. It's a neat boss. Different approaches.
Cool.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah.
I like there's multiple things.
Yeah, a lot going on.
So, after the Starlight Zone, it's time to approach the last proper level of the game, the Scrap Brain Zone. It's this sort of high-tech industrial base of operations for Eggman. Also, the theme in it is legit my favorite in the entire game. It's like this sort of, like, creepy theme with, like, I don't know, sort of like this sort of distorted music going on. It's really nice. It's got...
It's the place where you get scrap and brain.
Yeah. Oh, Scrap Brain Zone. This is where he makes the robots. He scraps their brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And not the brain room or anything.
The brain room. Oh my god. What if they were making badniks in the brain room?
Oh no! Sounds bad. I don't want to think about Sonic and Harry Potter together. I'm sorry. That's just so cursed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very cool stage in my opinion. I love it. It's, as far as like hazards go, there's like these things where you climb in them and it's like this spinny centrifuge thing you can climb in a bunch. And it'll like take you down different paths. A big thing about classic Sonic is like you get to go, there are like alternate paths through every level, and like certain paths that are harder to get to are faster and easier overall, as long as you don't like fall out of that optimal path. And like lower paths are more difficult, but yeah. So yeah, Scrap Brain Zone. I really love this music. I really love the stage.
Yeah, this is past what I was able to watch, but isn't there, I was like reading about it, isn't there like, scraps, like isn't there like half-built robots and stuff around? Like, do they attack you?
Not really. The enemies in this one are, let's see, you've got the Caterkillers and you've got this new like pig enemy that like sends explosives your way. They like drop bouncing explosives, sort of grenade thing.
It just seems like if you're gonna make a creepy Sonic zone, this would be a good time to do that.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, there's like all sorts of hazards. There's buzz saws and conveyor belts and all sorts of industrial stuff going around.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third act is Labyrinth Zone, but again.
Boo.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the water's purple this time. It's got that Mega Mac TM.
Oh yeah.
Then the final boss, which is this sort of like puzzle thing where Robotnik will be in one of 4 crushers, and you have to like guess and hit the right crusher each time until he goes down.
Yeah.
That's the end of the game.
Oh.
You chase after him one last time. He is able to outrun you on foot somehow. He gets into his Badnik thing. He gets in his Egomatic. You jump on him. He goes down. And that's where the level ends. You run back to Green Hill Zone. And if you got all the emeralds, there's flowers everywhere. It's beautiful.
It seems like this is like the end part. The Sonic fandom wiki separates it and calls it the final zone.
Yeah, the final boss is its own stage called the final zone.
Even though it's like sort of also in Scrap Brain Zone, because there isn't really a Scrap Brain boss.
Yeah, there isn't. It's essentially a 4th act. There is a thing about this boss is that there are no rings, so
oh shit,
you can only take 1 hit or before you die. It's a tough fight. Well, it's not the toughest. We'll get tougher in the future, but it can be tricky
before it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that's Sonic 1. It plays the credits. It's like the credits music is like this sort of it goes in like this sequence of every stage throughout the levels. Like, it starts in like the main theme of the game, then it turns into each level theme, and it's over. If you didn't collect all the emeralds, you'll see Eggman at the end, like, with all the emeralds you didn't collect, just tossing them back and forth, and it says, try again. Yeah.
That's funny.
He's there to taunt you into replaying the game.
And then if you do get them all...
If you get them all, he's not there. Yeah. He's like jumping up and down on the end sign because he's mad you won.
It's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's Sonic 1. Oh, a thing about, nah, that's it. I don't think there's anything more to say. So why don't we get into some asks? If you'd like your question read on the show, you can send it to a Twitter post on @ShuffleSonic, or you can join our Discord and ask at your leisure in the mod zone.
The ask zone.
In the ask zone. The mod zone doesn't exist. I mixed up names. So yeah, the ask zone. So we got exactly one Twitter question. It was in response to me quote retweeting the original post saying, "Ask me about Sonic 1." Violet Maria at Kitty Cat Herder asks, friend of the show, Violet. She's one of the hosts of Stranger's Fiction.
Nice.
What was your favorite stage and music in Sonic the First? Are y'all familiar with the songs?
I don't know their
I
names.
only got through like half of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, of what I heard, I think what played in the Spring Yard was my favorite. But I have a feeling that Scrap Brain would also be my favorite, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did really like Scrap Brain. Scrap Brain.
Oh, you did like it, yeah.
Yeah. Scrap Brain's my favorite too.
I like spooky musics.
Yeah.
I don't know the other ones though.
Mm-hmm. Shifting over to Discord, Drashura asks, how do you cope with effectively 4 acts of Labyrinth Zone? Begrudging acceptance.
Yeah. I didn't play it, so...
Running as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Just run as fast as you can, even though it seems like a level that you can't go very fast in. What a misnomer. God.
Sidmon asks... I should go in order. Keith the Mouse asks, did we ever learn what Devon Sonic Sona is?
No.
The furries demand to know. So, Devon.
Is this like a character, or do I have to make a character?
I think they're asking kind of like, since, like, Dan's and mine would just be our personas, probably.
Oh.
Whereas, like, you don't have a persona, so I think they're just asking you, like, hey, if you were a Sonic character, what would you be?
Oh, now I have to think about
like what animal.
We will return this. Let me think about Sonic characters for a second.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, feel free to answer when you've got an idea.
Yeah, even if it's not this episode, we can always come back to it.
Yeah.
I will be pondering this deeply.
Okay.
All right. Sidmon asks, what's your favorite classic creepypasta? For me, it's got to be Ben Drowned. It wouldn't be my favorite if it wasn't for the music. If it wasn't for the videos, it wouldn't be my favorite. But because of those videos, it's Ben Drowned.
True.
Ooh.
The videos and the fact that there was an ARG. Ugh. So much fucking effort put into that. Ben Drown's definitely, like, at my top, even if it's not my favorite. Like, I was reminded recently, because I was listening to, Zero to Zero earlier, and I think Giga mentioned, the Caver story, like the one where it's like John the Caver. I don't remember if that's considered a creepypasta because it's more like or I guess they didn't say, or I guess
I would say any sort of internet horror story would count.
Yeah, then probably, like, I remember that one, like, just, like, getting to me, and I'm not even, like, claustrophobic necessarily, but I just feel like those kind of things are like, oh, but, I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there, even if a lot of them have, like, bad reputations. I feel like there's a lot of weird, like, fandom behind them. I don't know how to explain it other than there's, like, creepypasta fandoms. And people think Jeff the Killer is hot, which is
weird.
Icky.
The creepypasta mansion.
God! Yeah. Oh, and I mean, again, it's not really creepypasta, but, like, I went through, like, a big Slender Man phase. I was, like, extremely into, like, you know, the Marble Hornets, the Everyman hybrid stuff. Like, so that, for sure, like, even if I'm not, like, as into it now, I feel like it was, like, one of those, like, important parts of my youth kind of things.
Yeah, I would say Slenderman was probably my favorite, not because I didn't really ever get into creepypastas, but my brother did. And I just remember when he, like, found Slenderman, it was, like, a fun week because I would, like, wake up every morning and he would have had just, like, flipped on every single light in our house and would normally just be, like, sitting in the living room. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And he's just, like, making sure he doesn't get me. I'm just like, I'm just like, bro. Like, that is my only experience with, like, creepypastas because I just, like, remember waking up to, like, every single light in the house just being, like, on. And me being like, what's going on?
I feel like even though you didn't have experience with creepypastas, I feel like you get a lot of the vibes from the Magnus Archives.
Oh, most definitely.
Which I know you fucking love.
Oh, most definitely. When you were talking about the cave story, I was like, just like, oh, I remember that episode.
Yeah, there's that cave story too, but, like, John the Caver is a different.
Yeah, I was just like, different. I only know Magnus Archives.
Oh, hang on a second. Are you still here?
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah. My cat was fighting with my sister's cat. Sorry, where were we?
I think we were done with the creepypasta question?
We're talking about creepypasta.
Yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah, I think we have that question answered?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so getting back into it, let's see. Oh, Devon, have you decided on a Sona yet?
I would say the closest, so I don't know if I have, like, a Sona, but I have a character that I would probably vibe the most with, and it would probably just be, like, Big the Cat. Mostly because I just, like the idea of just being, like, a chill, vibing cat who just, like, fishes and walks around in sandals and just kind of, like, vibes with everything.
Fuck yeah.
That's a good basis for an OC.
Yeah.
Alright. Flutterdark sends 2 questions. A. How the flip can Sonic not catch up to Eggman after the final boss? And B, well, I think the answer to A, personally, is Eggman has cyber legs. I mean, why not? It's not like we see his... At least in this continuity, we've never seen his bare skin leg flesh.
True. That's also a terrible phrase.
Yeah.
I mean, my answer was going to be really boring, so I like yours better. Mine was just going to be like Sonic was very tired after spending the whole day going around all of everywhere.
Yeah, I like that one too. B. Given that Eggman can make much better death traps, and Sonic could just end Eggman whenever, what do you think of the theory that this is just a game to both of them? Kind of like how Mario and Bowser seem to have a similar relationship. I think it's a game to Eggman, but very real to Sonic.
I feel like maybe it's a game. If it is a game, it's like... Yeah, Eggman doesn't care, but he'd be okay with killing Sonic.
Yeah.
I feel like if it's a game, Sonic is aware and he like wants to keep playing because he always wants to do something. And Eggman gets progressively angrier and angrier that he keeps losing.
That's fun. There are some bits in Ian Flynn's comics about how Eggman... There's like a very distinct moment in the IDW comics where where one of the villains like very nearly kills Sonic, and Eggman pulls him out at the last minute because he was doing it in a way that Eggman considers cheating.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something that comes up in these kind of things where it's like, you can't kill my enemy, I have to kill my enemy. Or like, you know, like very like the whole, I mean, with Mario and Bowser, like, there's more times where they show them doing other things together, like, like sports and Mario parties, and like they have more of a strange
rivalry.
They have a workman's code.
Yeah.
All negativity stays on the job.
Yeah. Whereas I don't know if that's true of Eggman and Sonic.
I mean, there have been like side games where they do other stuff.
Okay.
Like Olympics and racing and stuff like that.
I just feel like Eggman is someone who knows it's a game, but always gets mad that he keeps losing. And so at this point, it's like serious for him.
He's a sore loser.
He doesn't like the fact that Sonic continuously wins.
It's funny. And every Eggman is different too. Like every continuity of him treats it differently.
James the Cat Girl asks, do you think Sonic will ever get into Smash?
No.
Yeah, it seems pretty unlikely. They used to be rivals in the 90s.
Yeah. If it hasn't at this point.
But, like, I was actually, like... Even though I hadn't played a lot of the Sonic games, I was, like, very excited in Brawl when, he was in it. I was like, oh, cool. They're introducing third-party people.
Yeah. That announcement on the Smash Brothers Dojo was a classic moment of the gaming community. I guess.
Hello?
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 Oh, shit, I can't hear you guys. What is happening? What is going on with my computer? Oh my god, I muted myself. Okay, that's why. Oh my god. Sorry. New computer, who's this?
Yeah, okay. So... Yeah, that's all of our questions for today. So, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a die and roll. I rolled a 1 again, but I made a rule against repeats, so we're not talking about Sonic 2 next week.
That's fair.
Yeah. We rolled a 3. So, next week, we are talking about the American comics. Which is to say, next week we're talking about one issue of the main Archie series, and then the Princess Sally miniseries of Archie Sonic. Yeah, we're starting to get into, this is like when one of like Pender's favorites gets introduced, and we're gonna get into some weird stuff.
Oh no.
It's just the beginning, though, of the weird stuff.
Weird how? Or I guess...
Ken Pender's trying to write, like, a spy drama starring Sally Acorn and his original character, Joffrey St. Joffrey. Or...
Okay.
Joffrey St. John? I can't remember. His character that's basically James Bond, but a furry.
Okay.
Let's go!
Yeah. Let's fucking go.
Live your best life.
I would... Yeah, okay, so... that about wraps up this episode. So, I'm Dan. You can find me at a lot of places, and you can find all those places at linktr.ee/Mike_Dawson with a 0. From there, you can find my Twitter. You can find my art blog and my Kodash fee, where for as little as $3, you can order a commission from me. You can follow the other podcasts I'm on, which are Pot of Greed, a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. We are taking a 1-week break, and then we will be covering the final episodes of the original Duel Monsters series. And from there it's Dark Side of Dimensions,
Yes!
postmortem.
I cannot wait.
Oh, I forgot you were doing Dark Side of Dimensions before GX. Oh, that whips. Oh my god.
I cannot wait for everything involved with that.
I know, like, half of you have seen it already, but, like, it's so good.
It'll be Dark Side of Dimensions, a post-mortem, and then, when we're
Post-mortem?
ready... Or, sorry, just like... You know what I mean.
I was saying a post-mortem. I was making a bad joke.
Oh, okay. And then, eventually, when we're ready, we'll be starting Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Game on,
And I will be a guest in the future.
Game on, get your game on.
Let's see. For you, there's Stranger's Fiction, an actual play podcast focused on one-shots. An episode that recently went up was me GMing a game of Costume Fairy Adventures. And of course there is Disney Minus, a Disney podcast. We go through Disney movies. Our next movie, which we are recording in a few days from this recording, is Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Oh, hell yeah. What a good movie.
Morg, where can we find you?
You can find me at Haunting the Morg on Twitter. Haunting the MORG. My Twitter name's already Halloweeny, so yay. And you can also find, you can find the pin stuff there. But you can find me on my other podcast, Departure Lounge, a plane-themed Hunter podcast. I call it Hunter x Hunter in the show, but I keep going back and forth outside of it. But yeah, I do it with two of my pals as co-hosts who've seen it before, whereas I have never seen it. And we're going through and talking about it. And we're on, we're doing 4 episodes an episode, so we're on like 16, 17 to 20, I think, is next time.
Oh, you're almost done with the first season.
I still have to put out the 12 to 16. Sorry. You can also hear me on the first series of Wow, Cool Robot, Gundam podcast. That's it. Devon, where can we find you?
You can find me on on Twitter at Grooving Ghastly. You can find me on also a Hunter x Hunter podcast that I do with Keith, and now we got a new host, my roommate Sky. They just joined because they want to go through the series again with me, and that sounds fun. We do 2 episodes of the 2011, and then we do the corresponding episodes of the 1999 and go through the chapters of the manga, and it's been pretty fun comparing the series, especially because sometimes the differences are wild and sometimes they're like not at all.
Yeah.
I love that.
Bryant, one of my co-hosts, also is reading the manga and is like bringing that up in the show.
Yeah, the manga has some very quality panels. I know you guys just did the one where Killua sorry, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the show, but Killua is a very, very scary boy and kind of takes a man's heart.
His name is Killua. So
his name is Kill.
Although I do call him Kahlua, like the stuff you put in coffee, all the time.
That's like, I've been going through the 1999, and sometimes I watch the dub because it's what pops up on first on YouTube, and they say Kurapika and Killua all the time, and it's specifically
I feel better about it.
I think you can pronounce it any way you want.
I feel better about it.
All right. And you can find us at Shuffle Sonic on Twitter. You can email us at shufflesoniccast@gmail.com. And you can join our Discord, which is in the Twitter and the show notes. So, as always, Sonic is real, he is strong, and he is my friend.
Sonic's the only blue live that matters.
The only one.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.